PhD Manchild. Decided to have a bit of a discussion, mostly around mediums, its use and the journey from the start of a piece of work to the finish conclusion that's consumed by everyone else, if it's seen in person at an event, a display or social media. We all know that on The Book on a Man, I share everything from the start to finish, and the opinion. I demonstrate the usage of many mediums, tools, products and processes to get the effects that I achieve. It's always been a case that doesn't matter what sort of outlet you do as a professional, a hobbyist, a complete amateur, when you're creating art, artisan, craft goods, the finished result is the most important thing, and sharing the journey, that's the entertainment of a tutorial or a work in progress. You're amused or you're there for education purposes. When you're logging on to YouTube and such, you're there to open your mind and get an idea. But I find a lot of people go on there to validate their existing knowledge and what they do, and enforce that their methods, their tools, their products, their paints, their brand loyalty is most important. Not aware that in the true sense and spirit of art, artisan and craft is just a finished result, and no matter how you get there, but sharing the processes and tools. When I was very young, growing up at home, I lived under my mother, and she's been a practicing artist, at times professional, other times for herself, for the internet, to sell work, even as an art teacher. And she's always found it as a philosophy and very important that throughout my time growing up, I would be exposed to art and just have materials at my grasp no matter when. If I was staying at my grandmother's place, I was at school, I would have access to pen, paper, paints, all that sort of thing. I'd stay at my grandmother's place as a very young child. You would have ribbons and ribbons of paper for a dot matrix printer that she brought from the university that she was teaching at. And I'd be scribbling and painting away and just covering the whole living room with all this really terrible art. And it just carried on to school, to after school, to while I was even working professionally, as just something to do and an outlet from life. Never intended I was going to take it any further to competition, sharing online, or even a profession. But I had a lot of fun, and I just pushed whatever I had access to, which was normally the cheapest suppliers available. And anything Mum came across that they were going to throw out and I could just play with. It wasn't premium or anything. Absolute load of fun. She is, in her style, very elitist and uses the finest materials and whatnot. Porcelain imported from China, fine pigment paints, some of the stuff costing many hundreds of dollars, and the outlook of work, fine art gallery level stuff. She never pushed that sort of quality and just kept developing until I would improve and take the next step up in quality of work. Another memory I hold very dear in school, we did an excursion to visit a settlement of Indigenous Australians, and they were demonstrating food, dance, all the usual stuff, especially art. And I find the art very fascinating. It's a connection of complex dots, utilising paints mixed with natural ingredients, honey, tree sap, that sort of stuff, and whatever that they can turn into a powder that they find just out in the bush, bark, sand, kangaroo shit, which they mentioned in my adolescent brain found amusing. I still find fucking hilarious to this day. I'll totally thin some dog shit and put it in my airbrush. I swear to God I'll do that one day. And it just realistically doesn't matter as long as the end result works, it's done safely, it looks spectacular. And there's just really toxic nature at the moment mentioned of people looking for tutorials and reviews that matches their experience and not necessarily opening their mind. I mean, clearly there are just dangerous, reckless videos and content out there where people are doing clearly the wrong thing that would cause damage, misinformation, or confuse people and doing something that will hurt themselves, such as the memes of putting your iPhone in a microwave to charge it really quickly, or drilling an iPhone jack or headphone jack in the bloody things when they're Bluetooth paired. What I've found, and especially the plastic cement videos, you get a brush, you get a solvent, you apply it, it adheres together, melts into one surface. A popular method is you clamp the two pieces together and run the brush through, which works very well with certain seam-lined kits that don't have tension or snap fit. Older aircraft, older tanks, ship hulls, that sort of thing, works a treat for fast drying glue. Not so much for snap fit kits. You want to get glue in the little hole where you have the peg and the peg hole. And motherfuckers, you can't do it when the shit is fucking together, you hear me? You can call me all the names, fat, retarded, creepy, all that sort of shit. That's cool. Call me names. I'll block you or play with you or show you pictures of my balls or something. I'll look at your balls, you know. We can 69 each other or something. But to rubbish that someone is a complete failure of a human being because they don't use the glue the same way that you use glue, regardless of how different our projects are, what models we're working on, all that sort of thing, is fucked up. What's wrong with you? Eat shit. And then it goes down to brand loyalty. People rubbishing Vallejo users. You have to put 1,000 PSI in. It's harder than 1,000 men pissing in the Washington Memorial moat or whatever. People who use lacquers that rubbish other things. People that don't like lacquers because they're toxic and they smell. We all choose a paint that works, that we can afford, that's locally available. You can't say, you must use Purple Power or this paint no matter fucking what because I use it. My poor brothers in the Philippines who, they scratch whatever they can get together and create some amazing art. They're slightly cheaper aquarium pump air compressors, a few Gundam kits, amazing GBWC entries and just absolute pure art. Not complete crap because you're not using any water airbrush, which you do not even see in the fucking finished model project. People just need to take a step back and be willing to be absorbed and learn from other artists and not force their approach on others. You'll be surprised when you stop and listen, especially from beginners. They've got a young mind, they're exploring, they're learning, they're more likely to do something that you've never fucking thought of. I've been lucky to work with a few professionals, icons, reviewers, the big people out there. Be absolutely honest, when it comes to what tool, what paint to use, they've tried everything. They're likely to stick to something that they know well or that they could just get the cheapest and easiest. A brand comes along and sponsors them, may not necessarily mean that they deeply believe in that brand. I don't give a fuck. They're getting free paint and money, man. Shit, I'll suck the dick of any manufacturer who wants to give me some free paint. I'll jump on the fucking polyurethane bandwagon and go toot toot all the way. Sell out. I'm for fucking sale. Won't necessarily say shit that's untrue. So just chill out. Observe. Stop. Listen. See how it works, the finished model, the work in progress, the products used, put it together. People are out there to share, not necessarily to get schoolyard bullied. Peace the fuck out, share work, build, Tell weirdos to get fucked. I want to see some models out of you cunts.